Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE News and Rumors. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Hodge. This video is brought to you by SeatGeek, so if you guys are looking for tickets for any event in the entire world, it does not even have to be a wrestling show. Use SeatGeek, use code Hodge, first time orders only. If you use SeatGeek before, make a new account, use my code anyway. But save yourselves $20 freaking off your tickets, because that adds up to a lot of money if you go to a lot of shows like I do. Hey ladies and gentlemen, so I'm now back from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm now back here in my home of Tennessee. I got this amazing shirt out of the deal. Now, I just saw this out in the truck. I'm like, sometimes they do, exclusive shirts for exclusive shows. Atlanta had this awesome, it's a Lesnar shirt, right? And it says Atlanta on it, and it says Suplex City. It's an interesting one. I went to day one. If you guys didn't see the vlog where I went to day one, definitely go check that out. That'll be on the end card. But let's go ahead and jump in to the first news story. So the first news story is actually going to be about Sasha Banks. So this is after day one. Sasha Banks had a match actually at a house show in North Carolina. And there was kind of an injury scare. It was so bad they actually stopped the match. And the ref does the X thing, which means match is stopped. Someone is legitimately hurt. So he stopped the match. Sasha had some kind of crazy. There's like a slow motion video all over the internet. I'm sure you guys have seen it, where she was like wrestling Charlotte or something, and Charlotte's leg lands weird with her with Sasha's leg, and it's looks like Sasha's ankle's messed up, or she's tore like a muscle or something. And Sasha's pretty much laying there in a lot of pain. The ref throws up the X, stops the match. Sasha, after all of this, has taken to Twitter and said, "Guys, I'm okay. I'm not injured. I'm gonna be okay." So maybe she's a little bit sore or something, but she doesn't have legitimate horrible injury that's gonna put her out on the shelf for a while. She's gonna be all right. All right, the next two stories. So this is actually the final one before we jump into some rumors. So this confirmed news story is about the streaming service Peacock. So Peacock is the brand new home of the WWE Network or whatever. A lot of people have signed up to Peacock just to have access to the WWE Network. Meanwhile, some people were just signing up to Peacock because they have other things besides wrestling, and some people like wrestling. So basically, Peacock has revealed their numbers for the WWE Network, how many people have. It's been a whole year almost. It's been since last March, so we're approaching a year. We're 10 months right now. So how many people have actually used the WWE Network? Well, Peacock says they've had 3 million users use the WWE Network, and about half of those are just people who signed exclusively just to use the WWE Network. Now here's the thing I want to stand here and say. I don't know if Peacock actually has 3 million subscribers, because I remember for a while, before WWE even went over to Peacock, Peacock was saying they were struggling. They even have 500,000 people on the whole platform. And now imagine what they're saying, 3 million users or whatever, just use the WWE Network part of the app only. Now here's the thing, I don't know if they're counting 3 million different accounts, or if this is 3 million total views, people have been viewing, but you would think they would get more per, a WrestleMania or something. But at the same time, we have to remember Peacock is only for the United States, I believe, at this point. I don't know if they've expanded to other countries yet. This is a very, very interesting thing. I'm pretty sure they're counting total viewers and not 3 million different accounts, because the Peacock is a thing. It's a paid service in the United States. Not everyone in the United States who watches WWE uses the paid service. Some people try to find free streams online or whatever. But I don't really know what they're going at here, because WWE Network, I don't believe the network themselves had that many, and some of these are not pure wrestling fans, I don't think. I think it's just people just curious what WWE is on Peacock. So it's interesting. Nonetheless, Peacock apparently is happy with the numbers and enough to boast about them. So 3 million viewers on the WWE Network in the past year is what they're saying. All right, so that's actually the only confirmed news stories I had to talk to you guys about today. But don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because things are about to get here. Things are, in fact, about to get a little juicy. I'd go ahead and suggest for you guys to go and get your juice boxes out. Get your juice box ready, because, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to talk about some juicy rumors. All right, the first rumor. So this is just a jumbled up mess. WWE is a giant jumbled up mess right now. So we'll just say this one's about Big E, I guess, because we're just going to do this step by step here. So Big E is no longer the WWE champion. As we all should know at this point, hopefully I'm not spoiling it for you if you haven't seen day one, go watch it. But basically, Big E is no longer our WWE champion. Our brand new WWE champion is Mr. Brock Lesnar. So Big E was actually, apparently, before this was turned into a Fatal 5-Way, and it was just a Fatal 4-Way, Big E was actually magically going to win the title, well, not win the title, retain his title in the match. But Brock was added last minute, and made a last minute decision to actually put the title on Brock for some reason. So yeah, the finish completely changed. Big E was supposed to be the WWE champion right now if Reigns was able to compete. So things obviously changed. and I don't really know where they're going with this. No one really knows where they're going with this. Everything's very, very confusing right now. I'm going to talk about this in the next news story. So let's move on to the next rumor, because all these are like jumbled together. So the Fatal 5-Way match was very, very short. So if you notice, like a lot of the matches during day one felt really, really long. Like they were like, dragged out a little bit. Now I'm sitting there at day one, inside the arena, and I'm like, and they're really trying to drag this match out. Like I can tell they're trying to like kill some time right now. And I'm like, it must be because the main events have been canceled. Like Roman versus Brock has been canceled, so they have that extra time slot, however much time it was, like 30 minutes or whatever. They have to fill up that time, so they give each match like an extra 5 to 10 minutes or something. So that's what they were doing. But apparently by the end of it, when it was time for the Fatal 5-Way, I guess they were running overtime already. It's because the Fatal 4-Way before it was a 5-Way. The 4-Way was supposed to be a 30-minute match. That's including entrances. But they moved to the Fatal 5-Way. They added Brock to it, and with entrances and all, apparently it only ran 9 minutes somehow. So instead of it being a 30-minute match, it's a 9-minute match. They were in overtime. So the main event really got cut short, which, that could have been a really, really amazing match. And you're there in the arena, you could see all the stuff they have under the ring. Like, they had a bunch of tables under the ring, they had a bunch of chairs under the ring, they had all kinds of, like, weapons. I thought they were going to go all out for it, but we didn't really get much of that. We just got, like, a throw through the announce table and a broken barricade or something like that. We didn't actually get, like, the full extent of the no disqualification, like, thing on the Fatal 5-Way. I guess it's all because they kind of just overestimated how much time they needed to kill and then have too much time left for the main event. So, yeah, there's a 9-minute total main event when, like, pretty much every match on the entire show was longer than the main event, which is really, really stupid. Which is going to bring me to the final news, the final thing I'll be talking about inside this episode of WWE News Rumors. We'll just say it's about Brock Lesnar as the brand new WWE champion. So this is confusing. What in the hell are they doing? Because Brock was just in the Universal Championship match for a whole different brand against Reigns. Reigns came right wrestle. He goes to the Raw side because he's a free agent or whatever. Wins the Raw champion. Now it's like, okay, where do they go from here? Well, if you watched Raw last night, we already know where they're going for Rumble. They're having they're doing Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. They're finally doing that, and they're doing that at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. The question remains, where do they go from there? Like, after that, how are they doing WrestleMania? Because we still have that Reigns and Brock feud that's unresolved. It's like, they still gotta wrestle each other, but what are they doing? Are they gonna do champion versus champion? Are they gonna do a title unification? Hopefully not, because then one of the brands wouldn't have a championship, like a main championship. So this is very confusing what they're gonna do. So everything's really, really confusing right now, but apparently the plan for WrestleMania is still Roman versus Brock. But it's not going to be champion versus champion. It's not going to be unification. Basically, one of them has to lose the championship before WrestleMania. My money, I would say Brock's losing the title. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be to Lashley, but he's got to lose the title some way on the way to WrestleMania, is basically the current plan. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know if they're doing like a Saudi Arabian show in February maybe or something. I'm not entirely sure yet. But this is really, really confusing because the plan right now is Reigns versus Brock, and it's not going to be for the championship. So this is confusing. Also, if there's a big problem here, right? And it's called the Royal Rumble. Because the Royal Rumble match, the winner of that gets to face the champion of the choice. So I'm guessing if they take the title off Brock, say it's on Lashley or someone can win the Rumble and face Lashley. And we still have the Universal Championship open for Brock versus Roman. But this is really confusing. Why even put the title on Brock if he's just going to lose at the next pay-per-view? It's really, really confusing what they're doing. Everything's up in the air. I don't know why they would make the decision just to take it off Big E if they were just wanting to not have Brock be champion going into Mania. It's very confusing, and I think things are up in the air even for them right now. They have no idea what they're doing. But the rumor is saying that day one, the finish of day one, will not change any WrestleMania match. The WrestleMania matches they had planned are still happening as planned. I just don't know why they put the title on Brock. It's very, very confusing, and hopefully it'll all play out and make sense. Or maybe we'll look back on this and be like, yeah, they kind of put the title on Brock for absolutely no reason. I have no idea. Maybe it's for a reason. We'll just have to wait and see. But things in wrestling, in the WWE world of wrestling anyway, are quite confusing right now about what the hell they're doing with the title. So there you guys have it. That's going to do it for this episode of WWE News Rumors. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Right now on the screen, I'll leave a link to 2 previous videos for you guys to check out, as well as a button to subscribe to this channel if you guys happen to be brand new here. But I am Brandon Hodge, your king of vlog style, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video.